Okay, as promised, this is a little update on what I've been up to in the world I was working on when you were here. So starting down the bottom by their little boat inlet, you can see a few things probably new already. There's a whole bunch of additions and there are a few kind of edits and improvements. So heading up the top, the first, probably one of the biggest updates is I have finished the top deck and I've added another level, so basically a rooftop level. So this is the complete top, this is the rooftop. There is a rainproof inlet area, and looking down you can see I've also added a two-tone checkerboard carpet. That's light and dark grey wool. It was sourced from one of the other buildings. It's obviously cloudy and thrashing down with rain at the moment, so you can't see as much as you normally would, but it's fully lit. The clear panes along the edge there are not entirely safe. You can jump over those easily enough. You can hop up on these blocks. They're different from a fence. The fencing that's down the bottom that you can actually see in that view is jump proof. You cannot run and jump over it, you can't climb over it, it's completely safe. But this looks better, and it stays with the idea that this rooftop is one big clear area with a lot of lights that can be seen from miles away. So taking the shortcut down, the ladders, first of all we're going to have a look at the bookcase that I put in. I have no idea whether that does anything at all other than look kind of pretty, I guess. I don't think there's any function to it. So that's all the blocks and panes for that. That's the bed. So basically sleeping in the bed means you can turn night into day in a few seconds. There's a little bit of storage up there in case I want to add anything to the top, and I can just move a bunch of bricks up there. So here's the shortcut down. Two storage chests there. They were there I think when you were here. But heading outside, I don't know if I showed you the storage underneath the grandstand for the flowers. So that's just stock, basically, a good stash of replacement flowers and alternative colours and things that I can put in. Still got to do the back of that, but the front's pretty much done. Okay, here's the fence, and you can also see that I've added some diorite. That's the light grey blocks to the bridge you probably just saw there. That's the same block that's on that entranceway to that tunnel under there, and that's the fence, and demonstrating there that you cannot run over that, so it's very safe. That's an oak staircase leading down, and I've basically paved this all with a very, very hard smooth sandstone block, and that's the same block that lines as a skirt the earth. And that's all reclaimed earth as well. I've packed out that entire piece to a uniform section of dirt. And that's the same as well. This piece here is moss block. I don't know how you make that. I'm going to have to try and source some more, but the ultimate goal is to line the complete edge with it. This has all been smoothed out and tiered as well using the same. And those blocks are, they've been extended down, so it just neatens it a little bit, and lights, torches all over it. That smooth sandstone has been, it's taken all the way to the edge to skirt the entire piece that I built. Okay, and matching the other side, there's oak staircase this side as well. It's just an overview of the entire structure now, so that's a very, very decent piece of land. So what I might do is put some pens in. There's already a bunch of sheep and chickens and things like that. I might pen them all in distinct pieces and start producing wool, eggs, meat, all that sort of stuff, leather. Going into the tunnel, you can see I've added some cobblestone steps just to make it easier, mainly to get out but also getting in. And I've also added a sneaky little shortcut, a rudimentary staircase made out of clear blocks. This stone base is going to be the pattern moving through until this point right here, where I'm going to go to a completely clear block. And as it moves off the edge, that will basically form a floating see-through tunnel. The downside to this is that I haven't done it particularly well, and there's all sorts of leak spots which I'll have to plug one at a time. It's going to have to be extended completely with clear blocks like I'm probably about to do here. Not doing a very good job of it, but that's the intention, is to make that, that height. So the problem you can see here is that you only have a limited amount of time underwater, so it's pretty painstaking, but it's starting to look good, and once that extends out probably another 50 to 100 blocks, I'd say we'll push for 100, it'll extend right out into that bay, and that should make it pretty interesting. Right, so when this work's finished, I think I might extend it downwards and do some form of secret underground room. I've been toying with doing like an armory, just a huge hall with paintings, weapons, all sorts of equipment and things down there, so I may do that just for a bit of fun. And the bridge, you can see there's the dirt piece in the centre, stuck on the side. That's marking where the main span's going to go. So you've got a north and south span that's already in place. They're relatively small, about 20 or 30 blocks high. The main arch span is going to be 3 times that, and it will extend to twice the height of the bridge, and it'll add some impressive lighting at the top, so that'll act as a beacon. That's probably next on the list after I've finished doing a few more improvements to this piece to secure the seal. Okay, yeah, that's the centerpiece there. And you can see that diorite layer on the bottom of the bridge actually makes it pop a little bit, so I'm pleased to put that in. So that really shows you what sort of mess it is under there. It needs to be dug completely out and sealed off before anything else is done. It's a lot of work. Anyway, moving on from that, so you can see one of the spans there. We should be heading towards that now. A couple of extra blocks on the tunnel there I'll have to remove. I noticed those before. Right, so there's the southern span, and there's a little bit of lighting underneath as well, protected by blocks, otherwise you just drop straight through and you step on them, which is a pain. This entranceway is going to be closed off with iron doors triggered with footplates as well. And one of the things you pointed out is I've improved the railway in terms of speed. One of the things that's actually happened is that animals tend to either hop into trolleys if you leave them lying around on the tracks, or they push them and they hit the gold tracks, and they just get shunted down the track. So either that cart will be further down the track, or there'll be an animal sitting in it, which is ridiculous. But that's a 3-piece gold, so you can see that's immediately added greater speed. That's a 2. That's another 2. So I've basically done at either end. There's the other trolley. I'll just get rid of that. I've basically added 3s and 2s at either end and a little bit in the centre, and in between the 3s and 2s 1. So basically it's maintaining a constant, pretty much maximum speed for the entire duration of this length of track. There's really no convenient place to stop along the way. There's not much reason to stop, so I think this track should be all about speed, and particularly at the moment where I'm doing an awful lot of back and forth between the large storage area, which I'm about to get to at Pyramid House, and the other site that I'm still developing. So It makes it easier zipping between the two. And these tunnels I'm not overly happy with. This is generally good, but those patches of dirt and granite and diorite and andesite, there you go, you can see them there, they break up. They make it look messy, so I'll go through and I'll make that uniform colours. Also need to improve this because this comes in pretty hot and you have to jump out about here and the car keeps going for a little way. This bit you have seen, this is the secret protected tunnel. It's the one that's got the inset lighting and checkerboard with granite and diorite, oak floor and spruce ceiling. And that's probably a colour theme and construction material consistent, I think, all the way through. I'll go that way. Yeah, the plan is this underwater tunnel doesn't really do an awful lot at the moment, but I think we'll make it the entranceway to a larger underground piece. This is a storage tunnel, storage cabin. There's not a lot in it now because I have stripped it. There's a lot of cobblestone, so when I start building up massive stone to build the underground piece I mentioned under the water at the other side, I'll use that. And obviously I've got a lot of iron, so track is pretty well catered for, and gold, I've got a reasonable stash of gold. I can make a lot of power track using that and redstone. So just gathering a little bit more mossy brick there. I really must figure out how you make that because all of that stuff has been mined, literally found and dug up rather than being created. Okay, this demonstrates one of the little quirks of the game which is quite useful, and that is that if you can jump up, you can shortcut into a minecart and just hop up. So just basically one little push and then off you go. And in contrast to the other line, which is the spruce line next to it, you can see that that track varies in height. It just goes up to curve the landscape. It goes up there to meet the height of the land, whereas the one I'm on at the moment is consistent height. It never wavers, it's consistently one height. In fact, the only time it does drop, I think, is at its northernmost point where it drops into the ocean a little bit. But the idea here is that using gold as pure speed instead of using it to get up like that piece there, using gold track to go up 4 or 5 height blocks means that you'll go up but you won't gain any speed, you'll just stay the same, whereas on this track it's all about high speed because it doesn't have the physics of the height to deal with. It doesn't have drops either, so it kind of evens out, but I prefer the single height mentality. It's harder work, obviously you have to hack your way through gigantic rocks rather than just drifting all over them, over the top, but I think it's better. And fewer bends, the less you bend the better, I think. And here we can see that bridge with the bottom layer against the wood is stone as opposed to the cobblestone at the top. It just breaks down the pattern a little bit, gives it a little bit extra pop. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And there we go back inside. And we're done. How old are you, mother?